Okay. All right. It's 7 o'clock now, so we will call this meeting to order. First order of business is public comments regarding any agenda items. Seeing none, our next agenda item is the oath of office for the elected school board members, and it looks like our notary public is running late, so we will skip that for right now and come back to it when she arrives. Our next item is nomination of school board members. So in our meeting on December 17th, we announced that we would have a vacancy at the end of the year. And at that time, we opened it up for letters of consideration. And between then and the December 31st deadline, we received one letter of interest for that position. And it was submitted by Mr. Steve Dowd. So at this time, since there was just the one letter, I would accept any motions to appoint Steve as a school board member. Do I have a second? Gary, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments before we vote? What's that?
You want to do this again?
Sure.
All right.
I can't think of a better time to.
Okay. All right. Any more questions? All in favor?
I know if I count.
You are, yeah,
Okay.
January 1st.
All
Yes, you did.
Right hand count.
Yeah. Okay. So Steve, welcome to the board again. Do you want to come up and join us? You're more than welcome to. All right. At this time, we would have done the oath of office for Mr. Dowden, but again, our member public has still not arrived, so we will continue on to the election of board members. And do I have any nominations for the presidency? All right. Do I have any other? Oh, second.
Should I second?
Yes.
Do we need a second?
And do we have any other nominations? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Yes. All right, okay, for vice president, do we have any nominations?
I'll vote it first.
Okay. All right, and do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Lana, okay, and do I have any other nominations? All right, seeing none, all in favor? All right, and for secretary, do I have any nominations?
There we go, you ready?
I'm just waiting for anybody else to speak up, because I can nominate somebody else.
Okay, no, but you're everybody does it now, right?
All right, do I have a second? Second, Steve, and is there any other nominations? All right, seeing none, all in favor? All right, thank you. Our next agenda item is appointment of the school district attorney.
Yeah, I'm asking to approve Michelle Cooper as our school district attorney. Michelle has 21 years of educational law experience, director of Lewis Campus Attorneys at Law in Indianapolis. I propose that she be our general counsel, handle all legal work except bond work, which we became Herndon and Rice Miller legal counsel. Specific work for Bloomfield includes counsel for teacher negotiations, helping the board with the superintendent contract, and advising on personnel issues as they arise. And that's what I'm proposing.
Okay. We have a recommendation, do I have a motion? Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? All right, thank you. Next agenda item is appointment of school district treasurer.
I propose that we keep Stacy Robinette, that she remains the district treasurer.
Okay, we have a recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
Karen, okay, do we have a second? Elena, thank you. All in favor? All right, thank you. Establish the regular monthly meeting dates and time.
Yes, you get a list of that in your packet. Basically, it's the last Thursday of every month, except for March, November, December, because the holidays and spring break and the third Thursday, they start at 7 p.m. and they're in here until construction starts. closing, we pay board members $2,000 for their services in 2021.
Okay, we have a recommendation, do I have a motion? Katie, do I have a second? Katie, thank
Can
you.
you make one comment, and you know, that's for the IHS, or the safety guidelines, that's written, that's what we can do, so just making it public knowledge, that number is not a reciting that we're running, it's a number used throughout the state, and that's what's acceptable in the state.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. Next agenda item is designate the newspaper to receive legal, advertising.
Yes, our newspaper that we use, the County Daily World, speaking, and that's who we supposed to use as the industry.
Okay, we have a recommendation, can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
All right, and can I have a second?
I'll second.
Barry, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Next agenda item is, Indiana School Board Association Liaison Volunteers. So we need a couple volunteers, one for legislative, liaison. Oh, do we go? For both, okay, all right.
We can't have two. One person, they ask for a name, for the
Okay, all right, so, we'll work out, can we get one volunteer for both positions? That's Lana, thank you. And, what is that one? Okay, with Lana as, the legislative and policy liaison, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And Chris, and do I have a second? Hey, all in favor? Thank you. And the next agenda item, is the conflict of interest disclosure statement.
board members, do you want to say what your conflict of interest is, or do you want me to make you do what? Okay. Luann Finnick, she's individually contracted as a bus driver, and Green County Sullivan Co-op employee assigned to Bluefield School District by Skills Classroom full-time. You got another one.
Also, the growing senior coach for spring that.
Okay. And Terry Neighbors' husband, Josh Neighbors, is assistant girls basketball coach. Melissa McIntosh's mother, Renee, is her school nurse. Steve Dowd's wife, Megan Dowd, is the secretary. So they will sign conflict of interest disclosure statement at this time.
All right. And, we need a motion to approve this, conflict of interest. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Yes, can I have a second? Katie, all in favor?
You're voting on the other person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's been a year.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Luckily, we only did one a year. And then the next agenda item is establish open enrollment for 2021.
Yeah, that's something that in the past has been done, more towards the end of the school year. My NOLA guy recommended to do it at this reorganization, at the start of each year. And basically stating that we're open enrollment, allow basically anybody from anywhere in Indiana to
we just do that.
All right,
That work, Jessica? That work, Jessica? 28? If they do the oath, if they do. Okay. Okay, we just do the oath of office at our regular board meetings for everybody. We have 30 days to do that.
Okay. All right, thank you. So at this time, we're going to adjourn our reorganization meeting so that we can call to order. We'll call to order our school board finance meeting. And do we have any public comments regarding agenda items for this meeting? Seeing none, we will elect officers for the Board of Finance. Can I have a nomination for the president? Okay. Do I have any other nominations? Or what, do I have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay. Do I?
How do I get out of this thing?
Yeah. Do I have any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. And we will also, election of the secretary for the Board of Finance. Do I have a nomination?
I'll nominate Carrie.
All right, do I have any other nominations? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Our next agenda item is identified district depository.
Yes, in your packet, Stacy put together the activity report of all our interest and showed that basically most of it is in Northwest Bank. And then the other from our rainy day fund is farmers and mechanics. And that was all listed in the packet. Any questions about that? Actually, that was the review first, not the actual project. I jumped ahead of the review, and I included the board policy on investments in general, just a general statement. We can only invest in secured investments, like a savings account. It's summary. If you read that, that is basically what it's saying right there.
Sorry, I walked around the whole school.
Oh, no. We will maybe reopen that after this.
Yep.
And so that's just a review of the policy. There doesn't have to be any action on
Okay.
And then I kind of jumped ahead, and we just are supposed to identify our investments. We've done with Northwest and Farmers and Canada, we actually, and so just a motion to approve the investment.
Okay. Have a recommendation? Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Okay, and can I have a second? Okay, and all in favor? All right, thank you. And our next agenda item is financial reports.
Finance report, so we're required, this document here that I put in the packet, we do have fiscal indicator, we're required to go over that. And the first thing on that is our average daily membership. You look, there's no surprise, I shared this at the budget workshop, we've had a consistent decline in our average daily membership, our student enrollment. And then on average, of the last 5 years, it's 15 a year, and that's very significant. Obviously, that's a concern budget-wise, because that's where the educational fund, basically, we get money from the state per child. So if you're losing 15 per year, balances there, they only go back to 2019 on this, so it's really what I'm gonna share after this is really more relevant. This is kind of, year behind data on these things. Look to that, third page. I do wanna say, a lot of people, a lot of superintendents, treasurers will look at, percent fund balances, the percent of expenditures. It's recommended you stay in 30-40% level, and if you look, we have we're strong in that category with our percent of the fund balance as a percent of expenditures. Just trying to point out the highlights of those, of what is looked at on that. Probably more relevant, in terms of our actual fund balances is the end of year budget report that I put in your packet. And that shows our education fund and our operations fund. It shows our revenue and it shows our expenditures. And then revenue versus expenditures. And in there, you'll notice that we make a withdrawal from the educational fund, a transfer, I should say, to the operations fund. And then that's at 15%. They changed the fund. It used to be the general fund. They changed it to the education fund. And it used to be out of the general fund, all salaries were paid. But now, you have to pay maintenance, custodial, transportation, central office, salaries out of the operations fund. So that 15% transfer is allowed by the state, recommended, so that you can pay for the operation salaries out of the operations fund. So that's why you see those transfers many times from the educational fund to the operations fund. Because it used to be part of that fund, they took it out, and so you've got to transfer that amount to cover your operations salary. Then in the operations fund, that is a fund that is funded by taxes. So you see a high balance in that, and we need to have a high balance because that does not get funded monthly, it's funded every 6 months. So if we did not have a high balance in that to start, we could go in the red before June, and that was just fresh in June. And so it looks high now, but if you look at it in June, you're gonna be like, where'd that go? Well, we use it. Approximately, we're almost 900 some thousand, like we spent out there. But we do transfer educational fund money to the operations monthly, that 15% from monthly transfer. So then, the fleet is completely, because that transfer happens monthly. If that makes sense. What's not on there is the rainy day fund, and that's not something you usually report. The two main things you pay your bills from are the operations and educational, so I feel like sharing that we have $538,000 a rainy day fund. I will say it's recommended that 10% of your total budget is rainy day fund. Our total budget's around $9 million. So we do, it would be wise for us to boost that rainy day fund to for $200,000, and because our funds are strong, we're gonna try to do that here coming up this next month. If that's where it's supposed to be. Why do we need a rainy day fund? Well, this year could be a rainy day, and we may need that, so it'd be wise to put some in there. We don't know what's gonna happen with legislation. There could be, people have said there could be up to 60% cut education, so having that money in rainy day could help us if things get tight. So we're gonna try to get that rainy day fund to approximately 10% of our total budget. And then there's also debt service fund. The debt service fund, basically, whatever you have in debt, that's what the tax rate is. They I guess, make the tax rate for us based on how much debt we have. Okay? And so that's, in a sense, guaranteed money, assuming everybody pays their tax, right? That's established, and the operation and the debt service are the funds that come from taxes, property tax. then 5 years from now, we want to do, we need to do renovations because stuff's breaking down, then you have to raise the tax rate. And that's not well received sometimes. Sometimes you have to have a referendum for that. Does that make sense? So it's common to, when debt falls off, replace it, and that's to maintain your building and to enhance your building. Okay, so we have been able, our tax rate's gone down from 1% last year, it's down to 0.99, and that could waver a little bit with our construction project, but usually, if it's only a small amount, you don't have to do anything. People obviously don't want small amounts, it's a big amount, it's a big amount. So I just thought I'd give you a summary of the funds and a little bit about each of them and where we're at. I did forget to mention the education fund. They recommend that you have really about 3 months of expenditures, cash balance, which is about 25% of your budget. We're right at 26%. So we're strong in that, and our operations with that amount there is also strong for the last for that 6 months. Our budget is looking strong, solid. Not like there's a lot of excess or anything, but it's where it should be. And our rainy day fund will be where it should be. So basically, the one.
We'll keep it. Lucky you.
Any questions? Any questions about the fiscal indicators in our budget?
Good. Well, seeing none, we will adjourn the school board finance meeting, and we will reopen our reorg meeting at this time for the oath of office for the elected school board members and the appointed school board members.
And we'll just have Brittany, we'll just go to each person, and you got to witness them reading the, just ask them to raise their right hand and read the oath of office, and witness them signing it and do your notary stuff. So go ahead and do that with Mr. Burke. Okay. Ask him to raise his right hand, read the oath of office. Actually, you can all do it together. Since we're all doing it. Yeah, you can all do the oath together. You just, but she has to watch you sign.
Yes, I was just messing with you.
Oh, then,
We don't have to.
Sarah, no. Marissa's staying over there.
Oh, she said us.
Sure is, Steve.
I'm gonna go get my cake.
I don't believe him. He comes back. I don't believe him.
Go ahead and do this.
All right, I, Darren Burke, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Indiana and the laws of the United States and the State of Indiana. I will faithfully execute the duties of my office as a member of this governing body, so help me God. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, and at this time, we will adjourn our reorg meeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jeff.
So it's technology that's